It is Tuesday. All right, let me double check. It is Tuesday. Okay, it is raining. And it's a steady rain. The gods be pissing upon my head. Yep, that kind of rain. It's just a nice, steady, flowing rain. Meanwhile, my yard looks like a frickin' prairie now. God only knows what's living out there. By the time I get to mow my yard and it's dry enough to mow the grass, I'm not kidding. There's going to be frickin', like giraffes and shit hanging around in there. It's like, oh. Wow, it's awfully quiet here this morning. How can I best put this? Normally, I'd like to pop in on you all and say good tidings, happy things, and all that, but the more and more I dig, which is one of the reasons I didn't want to this season, but it ain't looking good. All right, words coming down from the shadows that have allegedly come down from the mountain that if Disney does not renew, the show is being rested. And that is because it's the same dilemma that for you folks flashback to like 1977 when you had the Battlestar Galactica series. It was like $1 million an episode, and that times money to make an episode, even though they were just copying and pasting a lot of the effects out of the movie. But because it wasn't getting the ratings that they thought it should get, the show was canceled. Then we ended up with Galactica 1980. Just saying that makes me want to throw up. Galactica 1980 puts a carpet of in the back of my mouth that I just want to vomit, But that's the word I'm hearing, which is starting to fit with the like I said, why RTD in his latest interviews, the word hiatus pops up X number of times. Because if they don't, what happens is this. You've got all these fools online jumping up and down shrieking because, the ratings are lower than ever. I said, yeah, the ratings are lower than ever on the overnights because people are watching streaming television now. Why sit there and wait to the, whatever time it comes up on the BBC when you can watch it, like midnight when it pops up? And that's affected a lot. And I'm shocked that the ratings have been as high as they've been, given the fact the majority of the viewers are going to be watching this, the moment it pops up over on Disney Plus. But they're doing the classic, we think it should have higher ratings than it does now. And it's like, yeah, but look at what your top programs for the week are getting. Most of the new top programs are barely breaking 3 or 4 million. And I think their highest was like 5 or something. I have to go double check. I know, I still miss the good old days, when the Star Wars movies weren't edited. Han shot first, and you didn't all have all these funky dunky titles at the beginning of them. Like, the like A New Hope. I'm like, but that was then. This is now. I'm just dying laughing because when I watch all these reviewers now, all right, we're going to jump over to Star Wars for a moment. They think the prequel movies are the greatest thing since sliced bread, and that's because they've seen the sequels. The sequel movies were so bad, they're making the prequels look like frickin' Star Wars gold. Okay? And the first 2 movies, to me, were just boring as hell. They really are. The first two movies were just boring. Revenge of the Sith, I think that's pretty much what I sat through how many hours a movie for, especially to get to the part we'd all been waiting for. The big the fall of the Jedi, and of course Darth Vader and whatnot. Okay, back to Doctor Who. Yeah, from what I'm hearing, you've got a bunch of lunatics at the who are at the beam, and like I said, this is just secondhand. This is what I'm hearing from confidential sources that are saying they don't think the numbers are high enough either. And yeah, word is though, if Disney doesn't renew, then their cash cow is gonna get put on hiatus. Which explains, like I said, why RTD is using the word hiatus, pause, and all this shit a bunch of times. Yes, I attended a YouTube doctorate school. I'm also an astronaut. Hey, I rode on the White Demon Drop, which is about the equivalent of being on that little blue whatever it is ship. I've sat in the cockpit of a jet plane, therefore I am a jet pilot. I've sat in the cockpit of an F4 Phantom, therefore I'm a fighter pilot. Sure, it was a mock-up and it was at a museum, but that doesn't. No, I'm just picking on them. The all lady crew. It's like, yeah, I'm like, you got the nerve to sit there and call yourselves astronaut. You didn't even break Armstrong's line. You didn't go through re-entry. You did not experience weightlessness really. You were on the very tinge of space. Most of the weightlessness they were feeling was when gravity kicked in and brought this little capsule back. Yeah, the head of the dildo, as I like to call it. But yeah, I attended Freedom Medical School on the planet Baldus. No, the doctor title is just back in the days, you had DJs who referred to weird names. Like I said, it was mainly inspired by like Dr. Johnny Fever and from WKRP Cincinnati. And I wanted this real funky title, but I didn't want Doctor Strange. I didn't want Captain this. So I just went with that. It hasn't really done me any good. It hasn't been a clever marketing ploy, but at the same time, like I said, I've never advertised the channel. The only way I advertise the channel is I used to share links over on Facebook, and I just got tired of doing that because people would watch your stuff for months and months and months on end, and then suddenly they get a new you get a new administrator or a new moderator in there, and they suddenly think they're God and strike anything that looks peculiar. It's like, and trust me, I ran into that when I was on Amino all the time. They'd bring in a new moderator, and next it's like, guys, what? I was brought in by one of your founders, okay? It's like they gave me carte blanche to post here. But of course, the new moderator will come in, and or my other one, since this doesn't have to do with Doctor Who, I posted a thing for Thanksgiving, and since it wasn't Doctor Who related, they deleted it. It was a happy Thanksgiving message. Trust me, there's just too many people out there, get a little touch of power and, No, I am not an actual doctor, no. What scares me is that gal from Blossom is a doctor. What's her name? Mayim Balik or whatever it is. But hey, she worked for it. But no, I'm not hearing good news right now from behind the scenes. I don't even understand a word they just typed. Okay, serious question. Will Elon Musk actually take it? Here's the problem with Mars. The best way you could have gotten to Mars is if you had a lunar base to take off from. And that was one of the early proposals, if I remember right, by NASA. And the problem is there never was a lunar base. Because by taking off from the moon, you use way less fuel than if you were taking off from planet Earth. Or you merge up with a space station, refuel, and blah, blah, then you go from orbit. But the problem is, like I said, there was never a lunar base built, even though all the helium-3 you could ever want is sitting up there on the moon. But also you do have to look at the logistics of it. You know, how are you going to keep people alive for how many months to get there, how many months to get back, plus the time they're actually going to spend on the surface. Plus, Mars is a really nasty environment sometimes. You can have massive sand and windstorms whip up out of nowhere. If you've seen The Martian, that's just a taste of what a storm on Mars would be like. Plus, you'll notice they'll never land a probe anywhere near Cydonia. They'll never. Which is why I still die laughing. Oh, look, that face on Mars. It was just a couple of mesas making funky shadows. Yeah, and I've also read the Brookings report. You remember that? I also don't like the fact that our so-called open public, space program is answerable to the President of the United States, who can classify anything you find. But at the same time, they do got to be a little cautious, because it was funny because the entire Russian shuttle program was based off plans that NASA put out available of our own space shuttle. Are you kidding me? Just the amount of money Chibnall would demand would bankrupt the BBC, and I don't blame him. Oh yeah, it's coming down pretty good out here. See, I don't know if you can see it. It's not bad, but it's real steady. I'm glad I got my umbrella with me. I hope I do. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Thank goodness. Okay. I got my little broken umbrella with me. Oh, sorry, Michael. Took a shower this morning, like I do every morning. You see, because some of us, Michael, have jobs that we go to every day to earn a living and earn money. I don't need YouTube to make money for me. I just do this for a hobby, and it's fun. But, yep, he said, he does not want to touch Doctor Who again with a light-year-long pole. I'm not kidding. It's because God, I said light year. Oh my God, it's amazing all the little facts that get burned into your brain as you get older. That light travels at 186,000 miles per second, or 3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. Ugh. Yeah, all the shit that I remember that I don't really need. It's like I'm not really doing E equals MC squared for a living here. It's like, but like I said, it's, as someone told me that 20 years, that's a pretty good run, especially for a rebirth of a show. But that would explain also that Shooty's gone, and that would explain why, is because there's they're probably counting on the fact that either Disney's going to return with a vote of yes, too late, that it doesn't really matter, or if they return with a vote of no, the show's getting arrested. The BBC will never sell Doctor Who. Just like Fox never actually sold the rights to Firefly. The only reason the Serenity movie got made, if you watch it very closely, you'll notice they never mention the word Firefly in that entire movie. I think the last I heard was they wanted like 300 or 400 million for the rights to Firefly, even though they canned it in the first season after they deliberately dumped it. They put it on in the wrong order. They kept shifting the time on it because they just don't want to pay for it. But okay, folks, I just looked at the time. I'm running way over, so please be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll catch you all tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see you all again tomorrow morning. We are not working this Saturday, so there'll be no Saturday edition. Omega Files will be Friday as usual, where we're going to talk about the latest episode, Lucky Day, which, oh well. I could tell you love the sound of your own voice and you go rambling on bullshit. I wish I did love the sound of my own voice. I want a more pronounced voice, like, maybe James Earl Jones. But, well. Take care, everyone. Catch you later, guys.